right, kiddies, do you want to hear a story? Yes, I do! Well, I'm going to tell you a story of how the Ravens choked against the New England Patriots. Let's begin. In week 16, when shadows grew long, the Patriots march where they truly belong. To Baltimore's field, a challenge they meet. To snatch a great victory, a task bittersweet. The Ravens flew high, with Lamar at the helm, a formidable force in their football realm. They built up a lead, 11 points strong, thinking the outcome would soon come along. But Drake May stepped up with courage untold, a rookie sensation, incredibly full. He rallied his troops in the fourth quarter's fight, igniting their hopes in the Sunday night light. With precision, he passed to Stephon Diggs, the star, a veteran receiver who carried them far. Then Stevenson rushed, a powerful stride, scoring the go-ahead, nowhere left to hide. A final chance fumbled, the Ravens' last gasp, as Chason forced chaos within his strong gasp. The Patriots secured it, the game was their own, a defining moment for all to be known. 28-24, the final score read. New England victorious, moving ahead. To the playoffs they're bound, their season reborn, a hard-fought battle from dusk until dawn. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a poetic edition of the Patriots MayeFlower Voyage presented by Patriots Clubhouse, your weekly series where we chart through uncharted waters and explore some games. Last night, the Patriots sailed into hostile waters. They walked into Baltimore, into noise, into bravado, into a stadium they expected domination. The Ravens cawed. The crowd roared. The night belonged to them, or so they believe. But discipline travels, structure travels. When the moment demanded poise, the Patriot answered with silence. This was not luck. This was not chaos. This was preparation, smothering arrogance. And as the final seconds drained away, the Ravens spoke one word: nevermore. Tonight, we're breaking down everything. The stats that mattered, the injuries that cost something, the calls that shaped the flow, and what this win tells us about who the Patriots really are. Strap in, boys. As usual, I am the captain of the ship, Dow, aka DTN, and I got my gentlemen with me, Andy, Austin, Thomas. Gentlemen, how was your night last night? Starting with you, Andy, then Austin, and then Thomas.
Let me just say, Cardiac Pats is a well-deserved nickname for this team. I mean, all these games, it was Atlanta, it was Cincinnati, it was the loss versus Buffalo, it was being down 24-13 against Baltimore in the fourth quarter. I admit I had the game off. I saw that and I was like, what in the wide world of fuck was that fake punt? And I know everybody watching that game said the same thing. And then we'll get into that. We'll get into the ref calls later. But in the end, Drake May finally has a signature comeback. And that was one stain on him that I've got to say was well-deserved. He was 0-13 with fourth quarter comebacks. And now he's not only has that, he has a 300-plus yard passing game, darn near 400. So 380. So... and pretty, everybody stepped up. I thought, okay, depleted defense. Chason steps up. Gonzo winds up stepping up with that tackle on Henry. Stiff arms the stiff arm pretty much. And May, the offense, May and Diggs and Hollins all clicking. It was in the end. It was a beautiful thing. So, yeah, it was a late night, but a good one. Cheers.
Definitely. How about you, Austin? We didn't see you in the preview show, but how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Long days at work. Been working a lot. But 5 o'clock football. Last night, definitely woke up with emotion. Obviously, the game was close, probably closer than a lot of us thought. Lamar ends up going out fairly early in the game. I want to say midway through the second quarter. So then you got in. I think everybody Patriots side was like, "Oh, we're gonna run away with this game," and literally until 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, where we actually started, being confident. We were looking like we were gonna lose, and just the chat, everybody going off, being like, "Burn the team, fire McDaniels," blah 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 blah. I think some people need to reel it in. It's a little dramatic. Yeah, I know.
I was not. I mean, that Buffalo game left a bad McDaniels taste in my mouth, Austin. I take it all back now. We were kept eaten alive by Snoop Huntley until we weren't. Carry on.
Yeah, and I think part of that, I mean, we'll dive into it a bit more, but I think a good portion of that is I don't blame the defense in any of our losses this year, really. I blame the offense's inefficiency and then our special teams' lack of being able to contain the running lanes. Because if you just look at the Buffalo game, the special teams was probably the reason they won. They just kept getting favorable field position after favorable field position. I mean, if you tell Josh Allen that every drive he's going to score a touchdown because he starts at the 40, like, come on, dude. So, yeah, just I think a solid all-around improvement from last week, and I think it kind of puts to bed the argument of, like, maybe not the easy schedule, but, like, can Drake May win these games when it comes down to, like, him having the ball last? Obviously, like you said, he was 0-13 up until that point, so the fact that he was able to secure a W, even against let's say injured subpar Ravens team, just to be able to show that resiliency, come back, even in the face of adversity, like the blatant penalty on Booty that was not called. It just shows the resiliency of this team, and like Vrabel is going to have them moving on all cylinders, getting geared up for the playoffs.
Yeah, it was definitely a must-needed win on all sides of the ball. Definitely that they really need to get back into the win column in order to, like, shut up all of these narratives from the media, especially from the Boston media, where they basically cursed him with like 5 to 6 injuries on the team. But let's ask the man of the hour, because later in the show, we're going to bring on Tyler to go up against this guy after what happened last night. But how is the man of the hour doing, Mr. Thomas Noble?
How am I feeling? Good question. Honestly, my voice is wrecked after watching that game last night. And I mean, when I mean wrecked, I mean that there was a truck running over my goddamn esophagus because I was yelling so much at that game. And I was starting to worry. It was 24-13. I was like, yep, my prediction's coming true because the Ravens are going to destroy us.
Yep.
But, to my surprise, that is not the case. So, and finally, after what I fucking said, that the Patriots, until I see the Patriots improve in the second half, I don't trust this team. But look what happens when we play against a good team like Baltimore. Shit is about to go up, and this defense being competent, which I'm happy with, when we play better football. And Drake May did not play hero ball. He'd been consistent all game, but minus that interception in the first quarter, which just really pisses me off. It pisses the fan. But regardless here, with a lot of injuries we need to talk about, the injuries of Henderson, yada yada, we need to talk about this. Ramondre carried through, which I'm happy with. Ramondre carried through this game. Not only Ramondre carried this game, regardless. And the defense played great football. And look what happens. We came back from a 11-point deficit and beat a previous playoff team from last year out of the Ravens. Whose quarterback, Lamar Jackson, who's pulled from the game in the first half because of a back issue. But, and then when they brought Snoop Huntley, I was like, nah. Yeah, the last time we faced him here, we lost. and that is when he was with the Dolphins. But regardless, very happy that we got the win. And my voice box is wrecked after this game.
I don't blame you, Thomas. It was definitely a roller coaster with the Patriots, especially that everything's on the line. If we win, we make the playoffs. If not, we have to rely on that Colts 49ers game, which is going on tonight. Depending on if the Colts lose, we make the playoffs. But
that could be a good one.
That's not the case after that game where we won the game and we're now in the playoff hunt. So now we're going to keep an eye on that Colts game to see who are the next teams that are going to make the playoffs. Jacksonville, Buffalo, and the Chargers. We will find out later tonight. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this live, please, and I mean please, hit the thumbs up button as you're coming in, or if you're watching the replay of this stream, and that you are subscribed to this channel. It is the definite free way to help us support the channel. It is a definite way to be part of this community full of Pats fans, full of football fans that love football, that love the Patriots. It goes a long way. And if you haven't already, please scan this QR code in the top right corner. That's where you're entered into the Patriots Clubhouse Discord. So welcome aboard, Pats Nation. And we will be here for a while, except for me, because I'm going to have to log out in like 30 minutes as I'm going back to work, going on my hands and knees, unboxing groceries and whatnot. So it's going to be fun, but
I work in retail. I feel for you, Dow.
Well, let's start with first reactions, because what happened last night was more than just a win. It was a statement made on the road. So let's talk about immediate reactions. All right, before we go to box scores, before we break down drives, before we talk about flags and injuries, last night was a physical road game. Loud stadium, hostile environment, a Ravens team that prides itself on toughness and intimidation, and the Patriots didn't blink. So I want raw reactions here, not analysis yet. What does this game feel like? And yes, we will definitely get Tyler's perspective, because he and a couple of other Pats fans from our other Discord went to that Patriots game live at M&T Bank Stadium. So I'm curious to find out what Tyler's reaction is, because he will be on the show later tonight, as I mentioned, for that brawl. But let's talk about this. So I want to ask you this, Andy. From a football standpoint, did the Patriots outplay the Ravens, or did they outlast the Ravens?
I really like that question, Dow. And for the bulk of that game, they outplayed us. I mean, they were beating us for 3.5 quarters on all sides of the ball and both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think, and when it comes down to, I know Harbaugh's a blue chip coach, but what was with pulling Derrick Henry on those final 2 drives? I think I do not believe we outplayed that Ravens team. I think we outlasted them. And last week, we fell victim to a tired defense. We know that. Even though we gave Josh Allen short fields, he's going to score touchdowns with those short fields. But, you could shred your defense 6 ways to Sunday. Yeah, Dow, I think we outlasted the Ravens more than we outplayed them, because for the bulk of that game, to be frank, we didn't outplay them. And that's just, even with Snoop Huntley in the game. And, Snoop Huntley did look like Lamar Light. Him and Derrick Henry, they scored 14 points. I mean, you beat a backup quarterback. Well, that backup quarterback is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL. And in the end, you won the game. So
yeah, and that backup quarterback is familiar with that Todd Monken offense, because Snoop Huntley is a similar style of quarterback that Lamar is. What I was confused with is why Lamar left in the second half, because everybody would make memes of saying, "Oh, I think that he was acting like a little baby and being like, oh, it was a small injury with that back."
He was not. I'm not. Of course, none of us here is a Ravens fan, but he don't say that about the poor guy. It's like, rewatched that play again. It was accidental, but he got kneed in the back. I mean, he couldn't, it was difficult for him to walk down the stairs. That was a legit injury. Cut him some slack.
Yeah. But when we talk about
Agreed.
outlasting, Andy, the last time you mentioned outlasting the Ravens, and I agree that we outlasted the Ravens in the fourth quarter, but what does that tell on the field that one team is starting to crack?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So, like, what does it tell on the field that one team is starting to crack? Like, when the Ravens show its cracks.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously there was that Derrick Henry touchdown after the failed fake punt. It was like, okay, I was like, this is over. And kind of like Josh Allen did to us last week, Drake did to the Ravens. It was, I forget how long the drive was. I think it was 70 some odd yards, and topped off with a 2-point conversion. We cut the lead to 3. And that was the case of an elite quarterback changing the face of the game. And, for whatever, he had the interception early. He had that fumble in the fourth quarter, either late third or early fourth quarter. It was like, oh boy, really, Drake? I love you, but really? And that he just fired on all cylinders in the second half of that fourth quarter. This is a guy who can put adversity behind him, who can put a bad game behind him, who can put bad plays behind him and throw that team on his fucking back and win. And that is what he did with that one drive. And that was the first nail in the coffin for Baltimore last night. And then, of course, the fumble by Zay Flowers. Forced fumble.
Yeah.
Chase Marcus Jones.
I was skeptical with the first 3 quarters, especially from the Patriots offense. Like, what were we doing? Why were there some hero ball moments? Why were making, like, so many mistakes, especially in the red zone, not securing the ball? And I know Thomas alluded to ball security. He has been preaching about ball security, and there was some concern with ball security, especially with that strip sack that led to the fumble, and then so much more. But I want to ask you this, Thomas. When did you personally realize the Patriots were going to win this game?
Sorry, I was eating my dinner. So personally here, it's after New England made their key defensive stand in the second half, mainly the fourth quarter here. It's literally here, not just the offense that we saw that, like, the Patriots have made a key stand against the Ravens to win this game. The defense played their part. They find a way to stop Tyrone Huntley, or people nickname him Snoop Huntley at this point. Like, we stopped him, we stopped Derrick Henry, we stopped their running backs, we mainly stopped their toughest wide receivers, including Zay Flowers, who is the one receiver I was mainly afraid of, because he's how dynamic he is on the left side of the football. But it's also, you didn't realize, Baltimore has really failed to capitalize on momentum when they need it most, when they lead that game, when they lead the game by 11 points. They literally choked that 11-point lead. Not only because it's not on everyone's fault, but on the offensive side of the ball for Baltimore. Because I'm sorry, without Lamar Jackson, you ain't gonna go anywhere. And without Derrick Henry, which you pulled with only 12:50 left in the game, which is, I think, is the stupidest move by Baltimore, in my opinion. I have no idea at this point. Like, that Baltimore would still choke this game.
And that begs a question, since we won this game, was this more of what the Patriots did defensively or what the Ravens stopped doing, which is a coaching malpractice?
It's most likely it's, I say all the above here, honestly. It's both Patriots play good defense and plus the coaching malpractice of the Ravens, which I don't understand why they pulled Derrick Henry. He was the most unstoppable running back that we've faced so far. I get he got pulled because he was like only 128 rushing yards. Like people, they're like just pull over some guys. So the rest of the guys here, I'm sorry, the running backs that's not named Derrick Henry, we stopped them here. Anyone like when Derrick Henry gets on that field, you know we're in trouble. He's a force to reckon with. But since the coaches have the worst idea ever, just literally pull Derrick Henry off the fourth quarter, which I don't think that's the smartest idea at this point. I mean, but at the same time, the defense played their part on this game. They stopped the running backs from running the football further than what we thought here. They stopped the receivers, including DeAndre Hopkins, Rashad Bateman, and most importantly, MayeFlower. I think that they did a great job making those stops, making those key defensive plays, and also to find a way to stop Tyrone Huntley from making these plays here when Lamar Jackson had to deal with his back injury, which is not a fake injury. I don't get why people are still going at that. It's a legit injury. I don't know why the people think they say that's a fake ass injury. It's not.
Yeah, outside of MayeFlower and Bateman, there were also moments where Hopkins made that play, especially that one play, and Davis was covering Hopkins. My gosh. Hopkins was a pain in the ass. There was a reason why I was advocating for the Patriots to go after this guy when the Cardinals released him, but he went to the Titans. So I thought that there would be a reunion between DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Vrabel when he was supposed to come when Mike Vrabel was hired by the New England Patriots, because Hopkins had experience with Mike Vrabel, but he went with the Baltimore Ravens, and there were some key plays that Hopkins made to make him at least a reliable wide receiver. He's not what he used to be in Texas with the Texans and the Cardinals, but he at least is a reliable wide receiver outside of MayeFlower and Rashad Bateman. But I want to ask you this, Austin. Out of all of the 12 wins we have this season, emotionally, where does this win rank compared to all the other wins this season, including all the primetime games?
I mean, I think you have to put it at number one. It may be controversy for me to say that, but I just think with us, playing the Bills at home last week, kind of being 1-point underdogs, right, at our own stadium, and then losing in the fashion that we did. I mean, everybody was taking the Ravens to win this game. Plus, it was a Ravens, do or die. Like, they were going to lay it all on the line because, I mean, they're not technically eliminated yet, but they're pretty damn close, especially with Pittsburgh getting a win. So to me, this win has to take the cake. I mean, it felt heavier. It felt earned. Like, we were down 11 points in that fourth quarter, and then we just started chugging back. And it's more of a statement too, I think, because like I said, everybody counted us out. They just looked at us losing against the Bills and they're like, oh, they're going to have a cult situation where their whole season is just going to derail after the bye. It's a big road win against a physical team. I mean, Harbaugh does a hell of a job basically getting his team prepared to play. Whether he's still going to be the coach of that team moving forward, I don't even know. I feel like he's kind of in the same boat as Tomlin, where it's like he's always kind of in the mix, but they never do anything. So, but you could tell the players love him there. But yeah, this win was awesome. It got Drake May his first comeback win. You had different people stepping up. Obviously, you had multiple injuries again. It felt kind of reminiscent injury-wise to the Bengals game, where it just felt like every couple of plays you're like, man, he's going down too. He's going down too. What are we going to do? Who's going to sub in? I mean, at one point it was like Morgan Moses got hurt, so we brought in, I think his name's Mumford, and then it's like, oh, he got hurt.
What and I was shocked that he had like a A+ PFF grade of an 88. In spite of having an hyperextension, which I think it was from your end.
Yeah, I think it was just like incredible, the resiliency. I keep harping on that, but just the ability for this team to, it just feels like they're never out of games. And even if they lose a player, they don't just like, oh, this sucks. Like, I can't step up. I'm not going to be able to play her. Like, even in the case of the booty, like, flag that was never called, like, could they have like sat there and been pissed off and, oh, fuck this, like this game's over, everything's against us, I'm gonna quit? No, they let their coach, aka Mike Vrabel, chew the fucking refs out, and they went back on the field and took care of business, and that's how it should be done.
Yeah, that's what they said on the radio, Austin. I mean, there are a lot of quarterbacks still in this league who would have seen that. One of the most blatant fouls I ever saw there not called and just been a shrinking violet, not done anything. Drake May. Sorry, guys. Drake May goes out there and plays the best 8 minutes of football he has as a pro.
Yeah, it's just, I think overall the timing of the game, like coming off the loss, us showing that we still have it, like we're still, to quote Belichick, we're still here, right? It's not like my biggest fear was we were going to lose against Buffalo, and granted, I think we needed a loss to keep us grounded and not just like let it go to our head and be like, ooh, we're going to win everything, because if you have that mindset, then you're never truly tested. So I think last game mixed with 3/4 of this game really tested, like, do we have what it takes mentally and like physically to just like keep stepping up and keep making the small changes and just being more disciplined to get the win? And I think they did a fantastic job at that. And yeah, I think we're ready for playoffs.
Coming to think of that, I think that the NFL did a great job of flexing this game. Granted that this was not the game that everybody wanted, but at least nobody wants to see Joe Burrow against Quinn Ewers. Or by the way, it was a complete crap show from there, and nobody wants to see two bottom feeders that are eliminated from playoff contention. And definitely that this was definitely needed, in a sense that you want this team to step up when the lights are that bright, because you're there all by yourself. You have, granted that there's coaching around you, but you're standing in front of the bright lights, in front of a large audience, in front of national television, and you show out what you're truly made of. And it's not like it would have been different if it was still 1 p.m., if it was on CBS. The fact it was on NBC, it just shows how impactful that game was, how much that the Patriots really needed, especially on the biggest stage. So, by the way, guys, I'm gonna take off because I'm gonna have to get ready for work. So Austin, take over for me. And if Tyler shows up, be ready for Tyler, because this is what he said. I told you all, Drake May, 300+ yard game. I think I said 310, 380 something, even better. So get ready.
You were right. We'll eat our words freely. We didn't see it, but here we are.
Well, definitely. Well, I know Thomas is not ready for it, but Merry Christmas, all of you guys. I will be back for the Jets week, and take it away, Austin.
Thanks, yes, sir. Merry Christmas. All right, guys. So let's see. So based off of this last game too, I kind of feel like the Ravens really wanted to play into like the chaos. If you looked at the Bills game, a lot of like their success was just causing a lot of chaos. They wanted the Patriots to get emotional. There was plenty of opportunities for the Patriots to feel emotional. Like I said, with a lot of these blatant missed calls or just, things not going their way. Basically, Derrick Henry running all over them. and they wanted the Patriots to kind of have to they want the Patriots to match their energy, because I think the Ravens are a team that plays off of energy, whereas the Patriots are a team that plays off of like discipline and execution, and they kind of like keep everything close knit type of thing. And I just think New England refused to do that. And I kind of want to get into why that mattered and what the numbers kind of actually tell us. Because when you strip away the noise, the scoreboard only tells part of the story. So stats don't tell the whole story, but they do leave some fingerprints. Last night wasn't really about padding numbers in any sense, although Drake May did have a very, very good game. I think it was more about control, efficiency, discipline, things have been harping all night. So instead of reading the box score top to bottom, I'm going to isolate some numbers that can help explain why the Patriots were able to walk out of Baltimore with a win. Final score was 28-24. The Patriots were tied in turnovers. Patriots had 2. The Ravens had 2. Patriots did have more time of possession, just barely, 31 minutes and 49 seconds, and the Ravens had 28 minutes and 11 seconds. As far as third down efficiency, the Patriots had a 33.3% efficiency, which was basically 4 for 12 on third downs. Not great, not really what you want to see. The Ravens had around a 63.64%, which was 7 for 11. Red zone efficiency, another big problem the Patriots are going to have to clean up if they do want to make a playoff push, as they only hit 33.3%. They were 1 for 3. The Ravens were 2 for 3. And then penalties, I would say outside of some no calls, it was okay. Patriots 5 penalties for 50 yards. Ravens had 7 for only 28. So I just wanted to go over a couple of those numbers just so it kind of sticks in your head before I ask you guys some questions. But you don't always need every number. You just need the right ones. So for you, Thomas, which stat on the board actually explains why the Patriots won? And which one do you think is kind of misleading to how they performed? Did you get that, Thomas?
Yeah, sorry, I got zoned out.
It's okay. So I was just reading some of the stats that I wrote down in our notes section, and I was gonna ask you a question as to which stat on the board that we wrote down actually explains why the Patriots won, and which one do you think is kind of misleading? It'll be in segment 2.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. So basically the what I said for the preseason, which is the red zone success. Like, we do not have red zone success throughout these games here, and most importantly against Buffalo, because that is just a putrid performance that from there. And the way that we've been performing on the red zone success last night proves that we finally just get the boot out of our ass and just play good football. This is exactly here why the red zone success again versus the missed opportunities is the biggest stat that the Patriots need to go over before the next couple of games against the Jets and even against the freaking Dolphins. If we don't succeed on the red zone, then I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this, we're not even prepared for the playoffs if we cannot score for the red zone or anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning when, we're week 16, and we're still having games where the Patriots only score one time in the red zone after multiple trips to the red zone. And I believe the red zone's even expanded now because of the new kickoff rules and where they have to spot the ball. I think the red zone's like the 30-yard line now instead of the 20, or it's like the 25-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that we consistently are able to get down there, but we're just not able to punch it in is a little concerning. And it is something to look into for playoff time. Out of those stats, Thomas, though, is there one that kind of is a little misleading? for me, I would say the turnovers, like the fact that we both had 2 turnovers, but I would argue our turnovers came at more impactful moments where the turnovers the Ravens were able to garnish kind of were just throwaways at the early state of the game. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with the turnovers. Like, we both have like the same amount of turnovers, but that's besides the point. But again, I agree with you with the turnovers. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
For sure. I would like to take a moment real quick. We're gonna invite Tyler onto the stage. Tyler, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. Thomas, I got you a Christmas card. If you can read my handwriting, it says here, "Dearest Tommy Boy." Wait. Yep, dear Tommy Boy. Merry Christmas. I didn't have a marker, so you get an F.
Oh, that is great, Tyler.
Merry Christmas.
Great.
Yeah, I was at the game last night. It was awesome. It was a great time. Man, it just a overall great experience, man. Just being there, seeing it right in person. I was in the end zone where the Kyle Williams touchdown and Ramondre touchdown took place to close out the game. So like perfect seats. Pardon me. Perfect seats. So it was definitely an awesome experience just being there. The amount of Patriots fans to mix in this was even better. Just even getting to the parking lot, it was like a massive amount of Patriots fans. It was pretty much equal split between Pats and Ravens. Man, great time.
Yeah, that must have been something. Do you want to walk us through your feelings for that Kyle Williams touchdown and that Ramondre touchdown? Like, kind of as you're sitting there and getting to witness it, like right in the moment. What did that feel like, man?
For me, I'm a person. The game's not over until the game's over. So I don't until it was like unless it was like 2 minutes and we're still down 2 scores. Like, okay, I'm probably gonna go ahead and start heading to the parking lot. But the fact that they just gave us the time. Giving us the time, it just felt like something was brewing even from where I was sitting. Not even knowing Diggs is hyping anybody up. I don't see any of that stuff. I mean, I can see them moving around on the sideline, but just something in the air just felt like different to me. Even being a fan, that like something big's gonna happen. And me being like the football nerd I am, just watching like the Ravens defense. They started creeping too close and getting too comfortable with Drake just going short, like 6-7 yard passes. So they started creeping in, and it was like one of these next 2 plays, something's going to happen. And certainly it did. I think they just caught him completely off guard with that Kyle Williams run out. And awesome sauce, man. Great time. But I'm standing up. I don't care if anybody's behind me. There's probably people yelling, "Hey, dickhead," whatever. I'm gonna cuss because I'm still high off of it last night. Like, "Hey, dickhead, get down." I could care less, dude. I'm in the moment. I'm enjoying this. All I've got is a bar right in front of me. I got a clear view of what's in front of me. I was hyped up as I can be. High-fiving all the Pats fans around me, and there were a lot. Man, it was great. Personally, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just for me being up so high. I felt like I was the loudest guy out there, just yelling like "Snoop, you suck," "Go Pats," like just typing up the defense, and it's just cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am a little jealous because the one game I decided to go to this year was the Steelers game, and it ended up being a loss. And then they went on the huge win streak, so it's like I could have chosen any other game.
You were a part of their success because that was the game that motivated them. So at least you can pat yourself on the back there.
For sure, but no, that's got to be incredible for you, man. That's got to be incredible. Definitely, man. I'm glad you guys to go to the game.
It was awesome, dude. Big shout out to my wife, my mother-in-law. And my dad, as well as my best friend Danny, who went along with me and paid for the parking pass. Like, all I had to do was pay for pizza and a hot dog and a beer or two, and that was awesome. So,
shout out Danny.
Good times.
Nice. Kind of getting back into it. For you, Andy, from like a field perspective, which stat best reflects how this game felt to the players?
Yeah, that's a good question, Austin. If I go take a look at the stats now, yeah, I'd have to say, I don't know. I'd have to say the turnovers. I mean, both teams had 2, but the Drake May pick was early, and the strip sack, came in the fourth quarter, and yeah, the Ravens still had the lead, but you see, the thing about the Pats turnovers is there was the Derrick Henry forced fumble. It was kind of toward the end of forget if it was the first quarter or the first half. And the game that really, what really got me was that Zay Flowers forced fumble, because I think Snoop Huntley would have driven it down for a touchdown, because basically Flowers had an open field ahead of him and he was headed for the end zone. And I'm not going to go out as far as saying Chase on saved a touchdown, but that's a 1,000-yard receiver you stopped there, man. And it was late in the game when you needed to do it, when you had the lead, and perfect play call by Zach Core and Mike Vrabel there.
Yeah, I think what happened with Zay Flowers is a perfect example of a player trying to do too much when there's still enough time to really just like take a breath, just do what you're told to do. You don't need to get it all in one play. I think that's something that Josh McDaniels and even back in the Belichick era, like they really emphasized on is like, and even Brady, it's like, if there's time, you don't need to get it all back in one play. It's about constructing the drive, getting little by little by little. And if we take a look back at maybe Pop's fresh, rookie year, even his second year, it was against the Eagles, I believe. He had a nice reception. He's trying to juke out the entire Eagles defense. Pop fumbled the ball.
Yep, that was Philadelphia. Yep.
So it's just like, to me, Zay Flowers did like a Pop Douglas boneheaded, just trying to juke out too many people, and obviously they capitalized on it. And I don't know, you got to blame the coaching on that one. But at the same time, it's not like he's a first-time offender. I mean, Zay Flowers, unfortunately, since being drafted,
he coughs up the ball in crucial moments.
He's single-handedly been the reason why the Ravens have lost critical games. He lost, obviously, this game for them. He lost the playoff game when he tried diving for the end zone and he fumbled right there. I mean,
when was that? I thought that was Mark Andrews.
So that was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So that was like his first year in the league, I believe. He caught a ball, dove for the goal line, and somebody knocked it right out, and the other team won as a result because it like swapped hands. I think it was like a touchback. It was crazy.
It's probably the Bills or Chiefs.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
He does. It's almost like a James Cook. Like James Cook is always like reaching that ball out and fumbling as a result, and it's just like he just needs to get his ball security under control. I think time of possession was a big one too. I mean, it's not as big a difference, but I think a lot of our time of possession came towards the end of the game because our defense was getting nice, quick stops, and we were really just like taking control of that game, keeping their defense on the field, not giving them a lot of time to really make quick adjustments or anything like that, get to the sideline, talk to the defensive coordinator. So kind of talking about time of possession for you to build upon that, Andy. When you're on defense like the Ravens were for that long, how quickly do you think those players start to feel like this, damn, like we need to get a stop because they're just like milking all the clock? That like greatest example, like the Ramondre touchdown. I mean, they milked, I think, 4 minutes off the clock like that. And yeah, there was enough time, but how does that feel for an opposing defense?
Yeah, if you're a defense, I mean, like gashed for that 20-yard run, you got to be like, either it's like, okay, I think at that point that Ramondre Stevenson run, yes, was the drive that gave them the lead. I thought that Ravens D must have been gassed. That was like an 89-yard drive. And Stevenson, earlier in the season, he had that fumble problem. And, it was that fumble problem was thankfully non-existent yesterday. He held on, he held on to that ball like he had a baby in his hands. I'm sorry I had to say it, and I said that earlier in the year, but he got to cradle the flipping thing. You can't go like this and then have the ball, smacked right out of your hand. But the defense, that's got to be that Stevenson drive or the drive before the Stevenson drive, or the one that culminated with that touchdown, had to be really demoralizing for the Ravens. Super.
The Kyle Williams touchdown.
Correct. Yeah. That was, as I said, that Good Morning Football called that a Rembrandt. I mean, you could not make a better painting of the game of football than that throw and that catch. Beautiful arcing throw from Maye. Williams right there at the right time. Perfect route. It was stunning.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the old Patriots days where it's like we were able to, like, we obviously understand the time left in the game. We kind of go down and get a real quick score. Then we force a quick 3 and out, get the ball back, and then actually take our time kind of driving down the field and just forcing the other team to really have to push down with. I mean, if we're talking Brady, freaking 2 minutes and the 2-minute warning with all 3 timeouts, you're sitting here like, okay, he's going to win that game. But obviously Snoop Huntley, I think he was cooked, honestly.
Why? Oh yeah. Oh, the defense. Oh, the Pats defense. Okay, I got you. 3 and out. Yeah. And no Derrick Henry. Yeah. I mean, it Harbaugh threw the kitchen sink at Maye that entire game, and he just kept responding. Like Brett Alper on Patriots Today, he said that's 2 coaches in a row who've done that with Drake Maye. And yes, with Sean McDermott, it worked. I gotta say, barely, but it worked. Last night, it did not.
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, I mean, May's going to be more privy to being able to dissect that. I mean, there's only so many times you can disguise a blitz or you can disguise zone into man before it starts to click with the quarterback and he starts to figure it out. So, for you, Tyler, just before we move on to the next segment, is there any specific number, or even if not a specific stat, maybe just the moment that Baltimore really lost all its composure?
So really the big issues were, like, that I was hearing out of Ravens fans was Lamar. There were complaints like, why isn't Lamar running? And even me as a Patriots fan, I know what's up. He's hurt. He's been playing hurt all season. He's got his own issues. He's like dealing with a lot. And when Snoop was on the field, it was like, okay, maybe he was just out to finish that drive. When we came back to the half and he's not out there, like, that was a big, like, because when I went, like, to the lower level, just doing whatever I needed to take care of. And while I'm out there, I'm listening to a bunch of people talk and everything. And it's a good majority of Ravens fans out there. And some guy out there had said, like, I mean, Drake, he's wearing a Ravens jersey. So this is just some guy, and I don't know if he's been watching him through fantasy or what. He flat out said, like, hey, like, guys, I don't know. Like, Drake Maye just needs time. Like, if we give him time, he could win this game. And his friends were like, nah, dude, we got this. He turned it over twice in this half. Like, we just got to do the same thing. And he was like, nah, like, if you watch this guy play, like, this is what he does. You just give him time. And, like, that completely showed. Like, I mean, granted, it would have been nice if it was the third quarter. We came out and just ended the game earlier. And, but it's even sweeter that it's the fourth quarter, getting to watch a game clutch drive, just proving your point and killing the whole argument of, oh, he's not clutch. Oh, he can't get 300 yards. He killed 2 birds with 1 stone in one game. Derrick Henry not being used, we don't understand it. Nobody in the audience got it. He averaged like 1 point, or Keaton Mitchell, that is, had like 1.4 or 1.7 or 1.6. It was 1.6 yards a carry. And then here's Derrick Henry rushing it. And he said throughout the week, they felt the best package that they saw in practice was having a heavier usage of Keaton Mitchell would be more successful. But sometimes you got to just throw out the initial plan that you walked into the game with when you realize we can't stop Derrick Henry. And I mean, it'd be nice to have it just come down to the wire of Derrick Henry and us scoring through the air, but they chose not to do that. You win with what they give you. If Lamar's not out there, I mean, Will Campbell's not out there. Milton Williams isn't out there. We lost Travion Henderson. We lost Tonga. We eventually lost Booty. Like, there's numerous things that could have derailed us. We just took advantage of what we had and could win.
Exactly. Even my really, to be frank, non-football knowing mom, I said to my buddy at work earlier today, you cannot watch this game, what they did in that fourth quarter, and chalk that up to an easy schedule. You just can't do it. It was too, It was, between the defense and May, and May throwing like there's no tomorrow, and you can't just there were multiple, like we saw with Brady for so many years. There were multiple things late in that game that was just like, oh crap, even more than Buffalo in week 5.
Right.
This kid's legit. He's, even Cam Newton now is sliding slightly to the left and admitting that, oh geez, maybe my fool's gold talk wasn't so right after all.
Yeah, and I real quick just want to say this before I forget. I just remember this. So ironically, right before, I don't remember if it was an injury timeout or an extended break or something of that sort before they went back on air. The drive where Kyle Williams got the touchdown, they were showing on the jumbotron of when we played the Ravens last, and all they were just trying to do was show over the years the Ravens beating us the handful of times. And so ironically, the drive following was Kyle Williams getting a touchdown. And shortly after that was Ramondre sealing the deal, and I don't think that's going to be in any of their video packages in the near future when we play them again. So no, I just thought that was pretty ironic. And no, I mean, I think to close out the initial question of what you had, they didn't lose anybody on defense. So what's the excuse of how we improved? We just figured out what it was that they were doing, and like I said, Drake just exposed their weaknesses, and didn't help that they just kept creeping in, playing cover 1, cover 0, and having one safety in the background at a time at certain times. And you're just asking for Drake May to do what he does best, and that's pick apart those types of defenses. And I believe the coverage on Kyle Williams was a man coverage out of cover 1. It was one safety back there, which led to Kyle Williams just going side by side with Marlon Humphrey right to my end zone. It was awesome. So, but
do you think, just a quick follow up before we move on to the next segment? Do you think some of those moments on the Ravens side feel avoidable, or do you think it's just a culmination of the pressure getting to him? Because obviously we talk about Derrick Henry being pulled from the game and because they like the Keaton Mitchell package, but at what point should the head coach and Harbaugh be like, Derrick Henry is our best freaking player on the offense right now, put that guy in, he just gassed us for two touchdowns over 130 yards. To me it feels boneheaded he didn't play him. And then just some of the, I don't know, I felt like the Ravens defense came to play. That offense was
their defense was solid throughout the game. I give them props. They definitely did a lot better. I mean, it was just one of those situations that I didn't trust Lamar coming in, and I was hoping basically they ran it the way that they should have when Lamar was on the field, try to just give it to Henry. But had we had Milton Williams or Tonga remained in the game, and if Lamar had even remained in the game, if we were just forcing him to pass or keeping it at that 10-10 score going into the half, if that was the way the game dictated itself, I don't think I wanted them to kind of like force Lamar to run. I want to chase him down because I don't trust his leg. He's not been trying to run this year, and I think he knows it's tight. And when you have that tightness in your hamstring, what's the big thing that's been going on this year throughout all sports? Your Achilles tendon. That's directly correlated to that.
Yeah.
So, he can't really be testing that when you're seeing basketball players and football players losing it just because of hamstring tightness. So that was not to say I wish upon an injury, but like as a team, he's clearly acting like he's scared to pursue one of his talents because of that. So that's why I want to force him to do something. We didn't have to do that because unfortunately something else took him out.
Yeah, if I can just flash back quickly, last week's ill-fated game, but not to discredit Josh Allen. 5 straight touchdown drives is amazing. But Austin, like you said earlier, a couple of those drives were on very short fields. And when you give Josh Allen a short field, that will be a touchdown, not a field goal. Really, that's like basically a fact. I wouldn't automatically give Buffalo that comeback win if Milton Williams and Robert Spillane were healthy. I just wouldn't. I mean, in fact, I might like to see them in the playoffs with those two guys healthy. And to be frank, with Christian Benford healthy on their side.
Definitely. Well, that's the stat line. This wasn't about explosion. It was about a slow erosion. The Patriots didn't blow the Ravens out in one moment. It was really a snap-by-snap type of game where they ultimately wore them down. And numbers like time of possession, penalties, and third downs can really tell a story that some highlight reels often can't. Now let's talk about the cost of a game like this, because wins like this aren't free. Let's get into health and attrition. So wins like this don't come clean. This wasn't a finesse game. This wasn't a track meet. This was a collision, snap after snap, against one of the most physical teams in football. And when you go on the road and win a game like that, you don't just leave with a score. You leave with bruises, you leave with limitations, and sometimes you leave with questions about what it costs going forward. Obviously, we had a lot of injuries. We had Henderson go into concussion protocol. We had Joshua Farmer go down. We had Demario Douglas out of the game. Morgan Moses got taken out of the game. His backup, Mumford, got taken out of the game. Moses ultimately back. Just felt like a revolving door similar to the Bengals game. My question for you, Andy, from a player's perspective, how much harder does a game like last night hit the body compared to a normal Sunday? Like, do you think they're really going to be freaking nagging at some of these injuries? Because a lot of them weren't pretty.
I think they will be, Austin. I mean, I think we lost like 8 guys to injury last night. And Trevion Henderson, Morgan Moses, Charles Woods, gosh, I can't.
Davis. I mean, like every
Carlton Davis. I mean, like Henderson is huge. Losing Mumford when you already don't have Moses was big. We'll be getting hopefully Milton Williams back for the Jets game, and then the week after Will Campbell back against the Dolphins. But yeah, this is the time of the year when injuries start to pile up, and yeah, I think that win absolutely came at a cost for us. I mean, yes, we could see a lot of guys questionable headed into the matchup against the Jets. And yeah, it's Brady Cook. I'd like to say an automatic win, but this is the NFL. You never know. And we'll be getting a couple of crucial guys back, but we might not have a Trevion Henderson or a Curious Tonga. These guys you might, who have been clutch in some of these games. The injuries just hit like a ton of bricks, and we don't have a lot of depth right now, which is why I've seen a lot of draft talk going on. And where was Chad Muma last night? I did not see hide nor hair of him.
And probably on special teams. And granted, like their kick returns and stuff like weren't. For me, I mean, I don't even know what number he is, so I don't even know. I don't know if he was activated or not. I had something prior to the game, like around the afternoon, so I even missed all the games beforehand. Then I had to drive from Delaware to Baltimore, so I didn't even get to look at anything. All I saw once I got to my seat
You went to go
inactives-
up and over. You went to go up
Yeah.
Delmarva and over, right?
Yeah, correct. So I had a time, but so I didn't get to look at anything going into this or any additional research. The only thing I saw was the inactive list. Thanks to Patriots Unfiltered, they had it right on the screen because I was like, all right, let me just see if I catch it in time, and I'll screenshot it and I'll look at it. And so I got to see the inactives for us. I didn't see any inactives for them. I didn't get to peek at any of that stuff. But no, that was really the only thing. I do want to piggyback off of just your statement, though, Andy. Here, I want to say our next man up aspect of what we were doing, compared to last year. If it was like we lost anybody, go ahead and count this game as a loss. Like that's how it felt.
Yep.
And the vibe of this team is like it's exactly what Diggs keeps preaching and stating to his teammates. We're all we got. We're all we need. And if you just continue to play like a team, good things can be the result. And I think we showed that last night.
Even on the radio today, they were talking about, the report May has with Diggs and where the crap was Diggs in that Buffalo game, last week. But yeah, I mean, the rapport with Diggs and with May and Diggs, with May and Booty, with May and Douglas, we've seen it's, he's just spreading out the ball. And Vrabel, that's a testament to Vrabel's culture building. He did it in Tennessee.
Right.
Now he's doing it here.
Yeah, definitely. To kind of follow up on that, like, I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I think throughout the entirety of this year, we've just continued to prove that people can go down and we just find a way. And that's how you distinguish between okay football team, a bad football team, and a good football team. Is like the good football teams like don't make excuses. They nut up or shut up and they find a way to win games. So like I said, I keep preaching resiliency, but this team has a lot of it and they're on a good path. And say we don't go too far into the playoffs this year, I think we have a very bright future moving forward regardless. And there'll be a lot of talk about with the draft and kind of free agency too, because we still got a boatload of money to spend.
Yeah. And later, like you alluded to, Tyler, and later Belichick and the Mayo year, we lost a key guy. The next game was a loss. That was it.
Yeah.
That was just a fact.
That's all it would take. I think in terms of depth, I mean, look, we got a lot of holes, but I mean, regardless, right now, like whatever we're doing, we're just making it work, and it's just simple as that. And it's like, no, it's not the prettiest football. We're not the 85 Bears where we're knocking like nobody's gonna ever get past us type thing. Like we're not at that level of a defense, but we just do not to like cycle back of Bill Belichick, but we just do the job that's asked of each of these players. So when it counts, we lock in and get it done. It'd be nice if we could do that all 4 quarters, but it's just not really realistic with talent, with who we go up against, and just trying to get it right. Everything's always different.
Yeah, we're in a lot of senses we're a very young team, and we do have a lot of young starters. So I don't expect these players to just be coming out here and being world beaters and, just be performing. Yeah, we have a couple stars. I mean, you're seeing May kind of blossom into what we all hoped he would be. Obviously, there's Gonzo. Would like to see more turnovers by him. I do think it's probably a fault of the scheme for whatever fucking reason. We love playing zone, and I think we need to get away from that. I think we need to play some man.
Yep.
I think it's just rather a preference of Zach Kerr, I don't know if that's just since he's the one at the helm. Like if he just prefers what he sees out of them doing that. I agree that man is the way to go, but unless they're thinking zone can just reserve health or vice versa, things of that sort, even just in general, like. It's just easier for him to call. It could be numerous factors, but
Core's been knocked for a lot of the season, and because of like what you just said, Tyler, deservedly so. I mean, it's like, I again on the offense, I loved seeing May finally take the checkdowns last night. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like they're gonna, against some of these better quarterbacks, I hope Core fixes it for the playoffs.
Yeah,
We'll see.
to be fair, just out of Core's sake, is that in terms of he's not the defensive coordinator. He's the guy that's calling the plays because we don't have our defensive coordinator. He's running a defense that initially was Terrell Williams' defense. He has probably teetered and worked with Williams that like this is what it's going to be, because Williams still shows face in the building. He still does Zoom meetings. He still does everything that he can at least assist with. But he's overall obviously focused on his health with his prostate cancer. But no, Zach Core, look, just being thrown in the position he's in, it's not been the prettiest job, but for the most part, we've won a lot of games when it's counted because of clutch plays off of defense. So I give him a lot of credit for what he's done. Would have been nice in the Buffalo game, but I mean, hey, oh well.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there. It's just
exactly
hopefully can improve moving forward, which I think he did a good job this week. For you, Thomas, when you're preparing for the next week against the Jets, how does a game like this change what coaches can realistically ask from players? Because obviously there's a lot of injuries. It could probably mean, some shorter practices and different things to prepare, like maybe people sitting out. What do you expect?
I expect some changes in the adjustments of this team, because again, we're facing the Jets, probably in my opinion the most easiest teams we beat at this point, honestly. And I'm not going to jinx myself here because it's the Jets. What do you expect? The Jets are the Jet, most likely. So most likely they need to start changing the adjustments here when it comes to, and also when it comes to having our players injured, whatever happens, whatever personnel that has been occurred for this team. When we played the Jets and the Dolphins, we got to change adjustments.
Yeah, definitely need some more adjustments. It's like we were saying. I mean, I think Kerr's done an okay job, but I don't think I more so think it's Vrabel probably trying to do some more of those adjustments than it is Kerr. I think Kerr's just the liaison in a way. He just kind of portrays what the team wants to do, and he just communicates that with the players. But yeah, you're right. It is the Jets. I think we will have an opportunity to maybe not have to run as many practices, let some of these injured players rest up, maybe not do a lot of full speed reps. Because at this point, it's not so much like needing reps to get going. It's more about staying healthy and just working on the mental, because you've played enough games through the season where you should be up to game speed and be conditioned enough. Let's see. For you, Tyler, watching live was obviously awesome. Did you notice anyone kind of gutting through an injury out there? Me personally, I saw Harold Landry. It didn't seem like he was playing a lot of the downs. Kind of seemed like his hamstring. But was there anyone else out there where, they're clearly dealing with something, but they're showing that resiliency to play through injury?
I saw a lot of guys enter the tent because the tent was actually directly underneath me. So I got to see everybody go in. So I saw when Henderson went in, and I didn't even really see what happened to him. I still haven't even seen the play of where he got hurt. I just know he wasn't back out on the field. That's the only thing that kind of sucks, is being live. When you're on TV, you are more well aware of everything that's going on. Commentators tell you. But one thing I also want to say, share, and subscribe, or you get an F, like Thomas, his predictions this week. Yeah, no, I mean, all in all, I mean, it definitely sucked seeing a lot of the guys go out, but then you could see some guys just rush out there, like Diggs, for example. Diggs, I saw him go into the tent, and he was like, why am I doing this? What am I, like he had said in his interview or whatever, post game, they were saying I had a concussion, so they had to call me in. I had to, he said, all I did was touch my shoulder pads, and for some reason they thought I was clutching at my head. So even him walking out of the tent, the the brief glance I saw of him, he just was like, why was this needed? I want to be out there, kind of thing. So, more props to him.
How much does an effort like that kind of resonate within the locker room when you do see somebody, in this case, let's go with Diggs, kind of make a crazy catch, but everybody watching it sees the replay and you're like, ooh, because you instantly think, man, he definitely pulled something. He definitely hurt something, like maybe that ACL tore again, like he's done. And
I thought he fucked up his foot. Yeah, the replay I saw, I thought he fucked up his foot. I was like, oh shit, because they were taking him out of the game. And like, I thought I saw him hunched over. It was hard to tell. You had like guys surrounding him from where I was sitting. So I couldn't tell if he was hunched over. And I'm like, oh shit, like we're probably gonna lose Diggs now. But like just seeing him go into the tent with like, his like his attitude kind of thing, like how he just, he's hype, he's ready to go. Like I felt like he was displaying that entering the tent and then leaving the tent, like just like I'm not meant to be in this tent. Like I need to be back out on the field. Like that was the vibe I at least got. Like he probably got the wind knocked out of him, like landing his leg. I don't know how he didn't mess it up personally, but
yeah, I think he's continued to show great leadership. And when you have somebody who's in that position get hurt in the fashion that he did, and just kind of, I mean, I'm sure he's probably stinging today. Like it's always one of those, the adrenaline's pumping type of deal. But for him to be a leader in that locker room and get injured in the way he did, and then just suck it up and go back out there and basically took over that game similarly to how he took over the Buffalo game in week 5. I think it goes a long way with your younger guys and showing them like, it's okay. You're going to get hurt. Sometimes it's about, playing through adversity, playing through injury, and within reason, obviously. It's not one of those like, oh, you just rolled your ankle, you should go right back out there. But
did Hollins ever go back out there to you, like around the Kyle Williams drive? Because he had left, or maybe after like the Ramondre Stevenson, because he had left like the field kind of hobbled off. I didn't get to see him come. At least I don't recall. Like I tried to watch everybody I can, but as that game got closer and closer, I'm more eager to see them try to win it than I was who's on the field.
Yeah, so I think he was off because when I watched the replays earlier today and even after the game last night, I believe that final drive when Diggs converted that 4th and 2, he ran, obviously, like that's an explosive play. I think it was like 30-something yards or whatever.
Yeah.
After that play, he was gassed as a 31-year-old.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Would be. He runs off the field and Hollins is in the coat and kind of just like, yeah, man, good shit. But yeah, I don't think Hollins went back in. And I also say that because on the game-winning touchdown rush by Ramondre, it was Kyle Williams landing the lead block on that got Ramondre into the end zone. I don't think Mac Hollins was in on that play, who I assume would have been in Kyle Williams' position.
Right. I mean, I think Kyle Williams picked up double duty for Booty and Booty being gone, and obviously Hollins if there was something up with him. But no, I think it was pretty awesome performance from Kyle Williams and even Hollins.
Wait, I'm so sorry, Tyler. You said Booty and Douglas, right?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I meant to say Booty and Hollins if he was hurt. Because that whole 4th quarter, I give a lot of credit to Kyle Williams for just getting open, getting separation. Because he was drawing guys out to lead Diggs to play. Like a lot of the behind like stuff for Diggs to hit the middle of the field was Kyle Williams taking the safety out of the picture. Yeah, so I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, no flashbacks now, but yeah.
Oh no, you're good.
Kyle Williams is not. We want to see more of him. He's not the bust people were saying he was.
Oh no, not at all, dude. It's opportunity. It's all it takes is opportunity. He's thankfully getting some more. I want to shout out Hollins because I think throughout the whole first half of that game, he was just all over, and I don't know if anybody else is giving him flowers, but Mac Hollins deserves a lot of praise for just constant catches. Even my buddy Danny was like, "That's the shoeless dude." Like, like we were like, he was impressed seeing a guy he thought was just a small role player make as many nice grabs as he did. So,
yeah, the dude surprised me. I mean, he catches shit that I'm just like, what the? Like, May takes advantage of his height, and that's how I know, like,
exactly.
May's, like, coming into his own and being a good quarterback because he can hike the ball. He knows where every player is, and he'll pass it accordingly. Like he's obviously he struggled with it early in the year with Pop Douglas. You saw a lot of like over the head throws type of thing where it's out of Douglas's reach. Obviously, it's hard when you have someone like Diggs who's like 6'1", or Booty 6'1", or Kyle Williams 6 foot, and then you have somebody like Douglas 5'8", and then Holland 6'4". So it's a whole multitude, but it's about the quarterback knowing his personnel and the fact that he just throws these like jump balls. And I wouldn't even say they're jump balls because not a lot of time Hollins is contested. I think he's kind of sneaky fast in a way.
Yeah.
But that one catch yesterday where he's just open in the middle of the field and he jumps up and gets it, like
awesome.
That was insane. It
was awesome.
So that's kind of the hidden side of wins. Sometimes it's about dealing with the injuries. Talking about some of the casual fans. Probably just look at a game face value and then could go into the playoffs and like, wait, where is this guy? Oh, he got hurt a couple weeks ago. You weren't keeping up. So I think it's always important to talk about injury. Obviously, the next challenge to come is the recovery process because we are uncertain about Henderson with concussion. I assume he's out next week against the Jets. Typically, it takes 1 week to clear that. But I don't know. It does suck that it was a late night game too. If it was, say a 1 p.m. game and we're playing the Jets at 4, I'd be okay. Yeah, there's a chance he plays. I don't think he's going to play. Obviously, Davis got hurt on that screen attempt. There's a lot of injuries, but I think it's just Vrabel needs to get these guys recovering. Now let's talk about something else that kind of shaped how this game was played. The whistle. I hate to talk about penalties, but
hey, Austin.
Yeah.
I gotta blow the whistle. There's not enough likes, shares, and subscribes on this video, so please do so.
I love that.
Resume. 5 yards.
More specifically, let's get into the no call against Booty, because I think there were some calls where you're just kind of like,
The face mask was
here or
legit.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the face mask was legit. I think the roughing the passer was legit. But I think
that offset was weird.
Which one is it? Are you talking about the one where on the field goal?
No, the offsetting penalty. I forget. I think it was like mid or late third quarter.
Right.
That was that Mark Andrews stupid thing.
Yeah, he forward passed it, but then we hit somebody. Yeah. So that was kind of whatever. It ended up not mattering there. But the two ones that stick out to me are unfortunately both on Booty. And the first one is, I believe it's like a 3rd and short situation. And he gets called for offensive PI. And you watch that replay and they're trying to say that he pushed off with his hand, like his arm. And you're just watching. It's like I've seen Edelman mug people much worse than this with that
was an
arm push off. Yeah. Like I really don't understand. Honestly, watching that, it reminded me of the Saints game where Diggs makes this insane catch for like a 50-yard reception, and they say because he like did that, it was called back.
The defender, it was P-O-P-I. Yeah.
It felt like there were more groans than cheers when that happened on my end, at least from what I picked up on. It was like when they called that. Like you'd expect like the crowd roars when a penalty is on us. It felt more like, yeah, all right, come on. Like, that was kind of like, and I felt like the crowd said that too.
Sadly, we are Pats fans, and Mike Felger on the radio today on 98.5 said, it's just a fact of life we're going to have to live with. The NFL and Vegas do not want a Patriots renaissance. That's what he implied. They just don't. And we've got to play through these penalties. And this is going to segue into that heinous no call on Marlon Humphrey. Booty was like wearing him like a fucking robe. I'm sure we all watched that play. Humphrey was draped over him and then dragged him off the field as if he were a puma, just killed a deer and was dragging it away to a cash spot.
Yep.
And Chris Collinsworth was sucking Raven dick all night long, said that was one of the most heinous no calls he'd ever seen. Chris Collinsworth. I mean, and credit to Vrabel for ratting those refs off on the sideline and May going out there and just slinging it. Like, that was the drive that had the 4th and 2 that wound up the 30-yarder to Diggs. And it's like, this is a team that's like, that was like the suck it mentality that we should have had in a few other games that we didn't. And it was a beautiful thing to see.
I think the best part about being at a game on Sunday Night Football, besides having to stay up super late and dreading and hating that you stayed up so late for this game, now you have to drive all the way back home. At least I didn't get to hear Chris Collinsworth on commentary. So I was very
It was like the one good thing. It was trust me, Tyler, it was like the one right thing he said all night. He was hyping up Baltimore from the word go.
Yeah.
Oh, if they get in the playoffs, they're dangerous. And then, oh
now,
yeah,
here's a guy.
Geez, Marlon Humphrey, like he was like you cannot drape over a wide receiver like that and drag him off the field.
Right.
Like grab him by the ankles and drag him off the field. And he had that catch.
And I know that's where Austin was going to go next, is with that Humphrey penalty. Like, that was, it's absolutely egregious how that wasn't called, period. And obviously I think Vrabel in that moment, from I had a Ravens fan that was like in my proximity, and he was like, why are they stopping the clock and all this? And I'm like, there's a player injured on the field. Like, why? Like, they kind of like don't know what they're doing here in this situation. It's basically like an injury timeout.
The refs apparently weren't even looking.
Right.
They were just like,
and
la-di-da-di-da.
Right. It just none of it made sense. But like, even when you do the replay, it's like, come on, like, this is something wasn't right with this at all. No, I think I think unfortunately every game has one or two that's an egregious miss or one that's called that should have never been called, kind of thing. And I think it's just an unfortunate trend we're always going to constantly run into until there's real involvement with New York over top of these refs. Nothing's going to change with it. If that's the case, like, if they're calling something on the field, like, it's got to be reported to somebody in New York, like, on top of discussing with the refs. So rather, they all got to be in the same ear loop, like having ear comms going on with someone from New York when a penalty's called. That's the only way I can think something gets resolved is that. But I think even then we saw an issue with that in the Saints game earlier this year, where they called this great Pop Douglas play back off of Diggs somehow mysteriously causing pass interference. The ball wasn't even in the air yet, and we couldn't even pinpoint anywhere that this happened. And that was called off of New York or somebody that was watching in, from my understanding. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's really tough because obviously you hate to get into the officiating, but when the NFL is a business at the end of the day, and there is so many ties with Vegas and like all these odds and bettors, and I mean, it's hard not to complain. It's hard not to deflect. There is always going to be, controversial calls in games. But I think the big problem with some of these calls is it sometimes determines like the physicality of the game, or rather the whistle can shape the behavior of the players, where he could be doing something all game and the ref is just letting him get away with it. But if you took, a different ref crew, the same thing that guy's doing, okay, now he's getting penalized. I think the big thing is like consistency, and, consistency matters more than perfection. Like, obviously the refs are human, and I don't think we'll ever truly get towards full AI type stuff in professional sports, but there has to be more consistency. And obviously last night, the way it was called, and frankly not called, did influence the tempo, aggression, and how both teams were able to play and adjust. I mean, you had Marlon Humphrey on that egregious PI that was not called, literally looking back at the ref, like expecting that flag to come out, and just kind of like, okay,
yeah,
I'm just gonna get up and go back to the
Humphrey thought the darn player thought thought it was a flag. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's how bad it was, Austin. I mean, here you are. It's like, okay, thank God we are not here tonight talking about a dumbass, one of the dumbest ass trick plays all season long, and that absolutely, positively heinous no call. Those would have been the headlines if there had been no comeback. Those would have been the headline, and they would have taught everybody and their brother would have talked about it all week. And this is the Patriots. The
Yeah.
zebras are out to screw them, and it's like, yeah, like you just said about Vegas. But the thing is, the refs are out there. Their job is to keep players safe, not show bias. Okay, let's just not go down a rat hole here. It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's tough too because, like, I'll go to football. Like, for instance, like the Steelers game. Like, I'll go to that, and like there were some, flags, right, that were neither here nor there. Like, sometimes you're watching, and you're like, oh, that's a penalty, and then you watch the replay, and like, yeah, maybe the fan in you's like, oh, that's bullshit, but then like the actual person in you's like, yeah, that's an actual penalty. I think a lot of NFL fan bases have a hard time admitting, like, yeah, that's a penalty. And they only focus on, like, oh, we got the win, get over it. This one penalty didn't change the course of blah, 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 blah. I'm not a fan of that talk. And it's tough, too. Like, I think some instances, some penalties obviously cause the outcome of the game, and some penalties, like, are truly, like, it didn't matter because it happened so early. But, again, it's all about consistency. Some people are saying that the booty penalty was, like, the worst missed no call ever. I still think it's the Nickel Roby-Coleman, like, blatant, like, pushing the NFC Championship.
In that championship game, yeah.
But my argument to that is, like, the Saints still had a chance in overtime. They got the ball first. They literally could have gone down the field and scored, and he throws a pick to John Johnson III. Like, there are game-changing moments, but ultimately, like, I don't know. I'm just sick of the bias where if it affected your team in the positive way, you're like, oh, great call, great call. But if it happened in the negative, it's always like, oh, that's a shit call. But like, nobody's ever honest with themselves.
Yeah, it's like, like Bills fans, oh, no call on Gonzo, or Bengals fans, oh, Gesicki wanted that flag on.
Dude, the amount of holding the Bills did last week against the Patriots was like actually pissing me off. And they're the team leading in offensive holds, and they didn't get called a single time. It's just insane. Yeah. I literally saw dudes like bear hug our defenders, and it was just like, what the hell? But it's one of those, like, again, like, you can't complain because people say you're bitching, and you, like, I don't know. But
speaking
of
Thomas,
bitching,
I'm sorry. Real quick before we get to Thomas, speaking of that, I just think fans just need to have faith in general throughout these games. I think, obviously, yes, we had a shit loss with the Bills, but like, just going, like, everything's the sky falling throughout these games. I wish we kind of could act like we've seen a football game for once and know these things, like, just progress. Like, things just will eventually improve as a game goes on, and teams make adjustments. Teams can figure out what they're doing wrong and eventually fix it. And yes, there are teams that don't know how to fix those things. But I mean, just the constant complaints over Drake May, like, oh, we got the wrong guy, all because of like a first half performance, dude. Like, it's what about the entire season?
We've sucked on our first drives practically all year long. And again, even in that Bills game last week, the refs didn't blow a 21-point lead. The refs didn't give Josh Allen the ball at midfield. That was just a myriad of factors that went in their direction, and nothing can be done about that. It's done.
For sure. For you, Thomas, from a big picture standpoint, do you think the officiating forced either team to change how they wanted to play? And I guess from a Patriots perspective, do you think there's something to be said about overcoming adversity, whether it is like having to come back in the fashion that they did, or, having to play not only against the other team, but the officiating?
I don't know, to be honest, honestly. I just not even pay attention to the officiating, just only focus on what's up here for the Patriots. But if you had to ask me that question, honestly, they like when calls are getting like put that frickin' thing down so I can fucking speak, Tyler.
Oh, it doesn't say F. It's faith. Have faith in your team.
Okay then. As I was trying to say before I was interrupted by that fucking F, which I don't
Hey.
deserve. Because I'm the one who's the general of the Fs here. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
the father of faith.
It says Faith Thomas. It's not an F.
Yeah, there's FAI faith.
Like,
I think I spelled it.
Have faith in May, and yeah, after that game, I
Hallelujah.
I can't. I don't know. I just like I know. I admit. I'll come out and say it. I'm one of those fans who's just gotten used to us sucking over the past 4 years.
Just something's different. Something's different, and it's just this team believes in itself even after a loss.
This really is this is a vibe. I will say. I'm not saying Super Bowl yet, like one of my buddies from work, but I'll believe that when I see it. But this is a vibe we haven't had since Belichick and Brady, 100%.
And I apologize if I'm taking time away from Thomas's response, but no, I think ultimately this just shows if the team has faith in itself, we should have faith in it as well. Like, just let them, like, I mean, obviously it's we can complain and yell as we're watching the game. I think that it's crazy when I hop on Facebook and I see the Facebook pages that like are out there in Facebook groups of people complaining mid-game saying this is awful. It's just it's kind of crazy. I don't know. Just think people just need to let the game play out, watch it, and then see how it transpires. Personally, but.
Definitely. Now let's kind of transition into the part everyone's probably waiting for, our musket men and misfires, where we discuss who stepped up, who struggled, and who left something to be desired on the field. Now we're going to name some names. Every game, like last night, produces 2 lists. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, musket men are the players who stood tall when the game demanded it, the players that, performed when their number was called. And the misfires are some of the moments, decisions, player breakdowns that could have cost you against a team like Baltimore. This isn't about piling on. It's about honesty and, keeping opinions grounded as to how some of these players played. And again, it's the players or units that showed up when the game tightened. So I'll start with you first, Andy, on your musket men, and then we'll get to Thomas and then Tyler. You're muted, Andy.
Here we go.
There you go.
This is actually a difficult task because we had a lot of musket men on offense last night. But I am going to be Mr. Obvious here and go with one Drake May. I've got to go out there and say it. That kid, it was like, dare I say, it was kind of like Tom Brady in Super Bowl 49. It was an up and down game, and then he got his brains beat in for a quarter and then bounced back late. 380 passing yards. I mean, that's like 90 more than he'd ever had in a game before. And I got the numbers right here. 70.5% completion percentage, 102.5 quarterback rating, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I forget, was like 20, what was it? Give me the numbers. Was it 27 of 44 or 35 of 44 or something like that? But I mean, when it mattered, the guy played lights out. The ref call water off the no call water off a duck's back. Strip sack, water off a duck's back. I'm Drake Maye. I am the leader of this team, and I'm going to throw it on my back, and I'm going to march down that field for 89 yards and get a score. And he did that. Defense forces a 3 and out. Maye does it again, and the rest is history. My musket man on defense, wow. I'm going to have to go with Kayvon Chason. That was a absolute clutch forced fumble he got on Zay Flowers. And yes, Zay Flowers is rather prone to fumbling, but Kayvon Chason, again, we had several guys come up last night when it mattered most, which is something we haven't, like, not just one guy, not just Drake Maye, several guys, and Chason was one of them. And if I can just pull up his stats right here, ESPN.
He was definitely a force in that fourth quarter.
He had 3 tackles, all solo, a forced fumble. So yeah, he was absolutely a force in that fourth quarter, Tyler. So yeah, I mean, there was one of our defenders. I was like, he threw down good numbers, and I forget who he wasn't. Kayvon Chason, but again, anyway, Kayvon Chason is my musket man on defense.
Darden had a couple. I think he had 2 tackles. If I'm not mistaken, Darden.
Corey Durden.
Durden. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Corey Durden. Okay. Yep. I don't know why I said Darden, but sorry, Durden. Yes. I felt like he had a couple must-have stops there.
If I have to go for my misfire on offense, I don't even. I mean, because we had so many injuries on that side of the ball, I can't really point out a misfire. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to just suggest just O-line play.
I was actually thinking O-line. I was actually thinking in the back of my head, wait, O-line play. That's why Maye was batted around. That's why he had his, that's why he was so bad in the third quarter. I mean, the injuries to Moses and Mumford exposed that offensive line in a way that, in a bad way. And Maye contributed to the fumble that he recovered, and then the strip sack. Yeah, the O-line play. You're right, Tyler. O-line play in that third quarter was not good at all. And, it was all about Maye's mobility and ability to climb in the pocket, that throw to Kyle Williams, that climbing in the pocket. Wow. Freaking painting, like I said earlier. On defense, I'd have to go, I'm sorry, poor Gonzo. You were a letdown, man. Yeah, the blocking the stiff arm was great, but you've gotta, and maybe it's partly Zach Course, scheming where he just loves to play zone, but you've got to get in there and make a pick, man. He was just like Zay Flowers ate him for lunch, kept running ahead. Even old man D-Hop got the better of Gonzo for most of the night. Carlton
Davis, and it was more like Carlton Davis was on D-Hop. So that's my only correction there. I'm sorry. I was most of the time when I saw D-Hop, there was somebody right beside me and he's a D-Hop jersey, everything. He was saying like, get it to D-Hop. And I'm like, dude's not that great anymore. Besides the point, it was always Carlton Davis that I kept seeing get exposed on him. Sorry, that's my only little.
All good. So thank you. You were there. Thank you. So but it was Gonzo on Zay Flowers, and for most of the, outside of that, stiff arming the stiff arm for Derrick Henry there, he was just like, get a pick, man. Don't be running so far behind your wide receiver. He adapt to the scheme. So there I go. Special teams. To be honest, I didn't really pay much attention to him. I'm sorry.
Andy was great.
What was that?
But I said Andy was great. That's it. Regardless, that was it. Like, he
Special
made his-
teams. I mean, yeah, there was that. Special teams. Yeah. My misfire. Marte Mapu and Jack Westover. What in the wide world of fuck were you guys doing on that fake punt? And why was it even called?
Well, was it supposed to be like the college pitch, like like the option plays where you're running and then it's like you're pitching it back to
It
the punter?
It was intended to be a pass to Westover, but they did an
Yes.
incredible job covering him.
Okay,
that
from
would
where we were all confused. Like I was like, is he rushing it in? And I saw Behringer was running directly behind him. I thought it was like I thought that's what it was trending, that he was going to try to pitch it to Behringer. I'm like, I don't think Behringer has the wheels.
They had that. To their credit, they had that play read like a book. Got a touchdown.
Surprisingly, we all were caught off guard by. I wouldn't have even picked it up that they were faking on that punt. But,
I thought it would have been cool if they.
that they were faking on the punt. Sorry, Andy.
Oh,
I thought it would have been cool if they, because to me, doing that kind of sets it up to do it in the future as well, but in a different way. Like, I feel like Vrabel could turn it where maybe it's direct snap to Mapu, but it's like you said, Tyler, where it is like then you toss it back. But I had the thought of him tossing it back and then him punting it from right there. So it draws the guy in, like when you need like a real field flipper type of thing.
Yeah.
And it draws the returner in, and then it's like,
so you were talking about the Pats pulling the fake punt, Tyler, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, an attempted fake punt, and it went completely awry. Because, to the Ravens' credit,
snuffed it out.
All right, next we'll go to you, Thomas, and I'll also say if you do need to go for, I believe, the WWE thing, you could leave right after you do that.
I already got it on right now, so no need to worry.
Okay. Yeah, go right ahead with your musketmen and misfires.
My musketmen and offense obvious. The one, the only, your true wide receiver one, Stephon Diggs, who performed so damn well at this game. Another 100-yard receiving game. That's his fourth, I believe, his fourth career 100-yard game in his NFL career, if I'm wrong here. And he's really on pace to get to 900 receiving yards this season. So this is a huge moment for him. And most importantly here, like, I've been saying this in the preseason, Stephon Diggs is going to perform when he is, not when his ACL is completely healed, which is completely is. He's going to be on pace to get 900 receiving yards, or possibly on stretch 1,000 yards at best. So I'm happy that Diggs is playing that well here. My misfire offense is another obvious one. Fucking Vederian Lowe.
Again.
Yes, again. Who is completely, what's the word looking for? Trash on the left side of the O-line. Because we cannot survive without Will Campbell. I cannot even stand Vederian Lowe on the left side of the line. I know that he played one good game, but I'm sorry. The way he did against the Ravens, he got exposed by this defense at this point. And he allowed a sack from Draymond Jones on the defense. I'm sorry. Lowe looked like it back in his 2024 form, which he is complete trash. And I'm still on the Vederian Lowe hate train, and nobody is going to make me derail that Vederian Lowe hate train, because Lowe is the worst offensive lineman we have out of this team, and I hope he gets cut. I hope he's unemployed. He will never, and I hope he will never get a job in the National Football League, because how garbage he is. Anyway, my musketman on defense is nobody but Kelvin Chason. I was gonna go Carlton Davis the way he's been fucking playing well here, but Chason has But Chason is the true winner at this point because honestly, that fumble recovery, that strip fumble, what he did, really just, and those 3 tackles really made the huge difference. Chason, another huge game for him. And my misfire on defense is going to Gonzo. I have been saying this here since last week. I'm sorry, but Gonzo is getting regressed, and I'm going to rub again, Mr. Andy Schulten, because the one corner who's been doing better than Gonzo this season is the one and only Carlton Davis III. Which you roast him most of the season because he is bad. Don't even say
I held off on my Davis roasting tonight, Thomas.
You better not roast him again if he plays another good game. Which right now, when I look at right now, he plays a good fucking game. And guess who's not? Gonzo. Because I'm sorry, the way Gonzo's playing last night is just not good. And I'm sorry to say this here, if he does not play a good game against the Jets or the Dolphins, I don't know if he's worth of a contract extension. I don't.
Yeah, those are some fair opinions, Thomas. Those are some fair opinions. Controversial, maybe. I do think Davis has played a lot better than some people care to say. I think with Gonzo essentially locking up your number one, Carlton Davis is bound to have balls catched on him because he's like the quarterback has to throw to somebody else when Gonzo's sticking on him. So, but I like your answers. How about you, Tyler?
Okay, I'll do the misfires for me first. So how about let's go offensively? You guys both went offensive line. I think they definitely blew that the Drake Mays interception as well as the fumble play. I think I hold a lot of that too. Obviously, he's still got to make the throw. He still has to hold on to the ball. But I most of that doesn't happen if they were doing a good job of actually. I don't know if they just didn't hear the snap count or what, but the play where he has to run out and throw that pick to Booty that ended up being a Humphrey interception, they were not even like lined up or like ready for the snap or anything. It was like Benoit and the guy opposite him, I'm blanking on the name, may have been Roquan Smith, complete like just immediately like rushed out at the second the ball was out. Like I don't know if they just didn't hear the snap or what, but they just looked completely lost out there, leaving the Drake have to run out and throw the INT. I'm actually gonna not. Maybe it's also partly why I'm gonna pick this, but Travion Henderson actually as a misfire. He was getting stuffed every time. And look, that also goes into play with the offensive line, but there's certain times that he just couldn't get anything going, and it was we kind of needed him a lot for those drives, and it was just constantly not there, even on outside runs. Hopefully he is okay. I hate having to put an injured player in that spot, but he just was not making the effort. All right, let's get to the good. This is going to apply to both the offense and the defense. The Minutemen is the entire team for how they performed in that fourth quarter. I felt like everybody that did wrong improved themselves in the fourth quarter. Offensive line stepped up big, let Drake get out there and make the plays. The receivers were catching, getting separation on the routes from Diggs to Hollins to Williams to Henry to everybody that just needed to step up, stepped up. Defensively, also doesn't get talked about enough, Jalen Hawkins. How about that forced fumble that he had out on Derrick Henry? That I felt like completely overlooked. That was a very crucial one that we needed to get some momentum going for us. A lot of the guys stepped up when they needed to at the time, so this game to get this going. And ultimately, the guys that kept having faith, unlike some people in this chat here, in this room here, that's also on the screen with me here. Faith are the reasons that I think we won today. The belief that they had in each other. They played like a team. They got it done from Drake to everybody. I'm very proud of the boys, and it was a great game.
Yeah, a lot to be said there. I mean, it was a full effort by the entire team. I mean, you can't win without the offense, defense, and special teams. I know it's easy to say that, but it is hard to play all three facets of the game for the entirety of the game. And, we didn't manage to do it for the entirety of the game, but we did it in the moments that matter, and ultimately that got us the win. For me, my musket man on offense, I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson. I think he just had a pretty solid game for the first time in forever. It was kind of like one of those picking up the phone, like, hello, who's this? Because you just haven't heard anything out of Ramondre with the surge of Trevion Henderson in our backfield. Obviously, Trevion goes down, and now Ramondre has to come in. And I was definitely scared at first because you look at a Ravens defense where Harbaugh is always going to have that defense ready to play. And, I think they're one of the more physical defensive units in the league, and they were just really, all the talk leading up was – they just keep getting healthier every week, and, all their stars are back. I mean, Kyle Hamilton was flying around everywhere. That's a player where, if his contract goes up, I'd be like, Patriots, go sign that guy. I want that guy on my team. Marlon Humphrey obviously let up some stuff, but, he's no slouch at corner. Nate Wiggins, the other corner, young corner, really, really solid player. Roquan Smith, incredible linebacker. They have – a defense semblant to that of, some other Ravens dynasties. Obviously, they don't have the Super Bowl to kind of be like, hey, this is a dynasty, but they're really, really good. And I just think Ramondre, given the workload that he had, knowing that, okay, you're our sole back, he took advantage of his touches. We've preached that people on this team just take advantage of their touches when their number's called. Kyle Williams doesn't always get every single opportunity. He does play a lot of snaps, but the ball doesn't often go his way. But when it does, he makes the most of his opportunity. And it was like that with Henderson as well. I mean, we were all scratching our head for the longest time. Why isn't Henderson playing? Why is Ramondre playing? And it's almost like everything's come full circle where it's like we don't know when Henderson's going to play again, and now we need Ramondre to step up big. But yeah, I think the way Ramondre played yesterday was really good, and that touchdown run where he even was talking post game. He said, "I faked them out real good," because the handoff was to the left, and he made it seem like he's going that way, and he cuts it back, and boom, he's so shifty. Like when you see Prime Mondre, he's got that dead leg and the little juke that he did. Oh my God, it's just great. So he's my musket man. For defense, you kind of stole it a little bit, Tyler, but I was going with Jalen Hawkins. I think that fumble that he caused really was a turning point, because if we did not have that, it just almost looked like a day where Derrick Henry is just going to manhandle this defense and have his way with us. And that really rejuvenated the Patriots and kind of gave them a little bit of life. So just a heads up play. And I think our safeties have really come alive in Craig Woodson and Jalen Hawkins. At the beginning of the year, we were definitely like, oh, man, I don't know how this is going to pan out. We're losing Kyle Duggar. We're losing Jabril Peppers. Hell, we had Marcus Epps, who I think is a good safety too, who ended up wanting to be, requested release. So it's just like we're so uncertain about the safety room, and just everybody who is in that room now has just continued to step up and play. So really appreciate that. As far as my misfires, I would probably say Douglas on offense, and it's just because he's just kind of faded into irrelevancy. It's hard to choose somebody on the offense that is bad, and obviously you guys chose offensive line and specifically low, and obviously that's an easy answer, but I'm just going with it just feels like he faded out. Over the past couple weeks, you still see Booty getting his catches, you still see Hollins getting his catches, Diggs getting his catches. But you just haven't heard Douglas's name in a while, and it almost makes you wonder, what his position is going to be like next year moving forward, because I feel like Diggs fills that slot role, and if you have a Diggs on your team, like there's no point in having a Douglas. Like Douglas to me just seems like a gadget player at this point, similar to a Marcus Jones, where you're just going to throw him in a select package, hope he gets around on an end around. Like I don't know what's going on with him, but as far as my misfire on defense, I just have to say the run defense. I think it was completely atrocious. I think if not for Harbaugh taking out Derrick Henry, I believe Derrick Henry didn't play for the last 12 minutes and 50 seconds. If Derrick Henry played at any moment, I think we're looking at an entirely different outcome. Could it have been a nagging injury, Derrick Henry part? I don't know. He basically just said that's the scheme we went with and we stuck with it. Good for them, but I think they bailed us out because our run defense was absolutely atrocious. I mean, we lost Tonga, we lost Farmer. We are obviously playing without Milton Williams. I'm very optimistic, and I think it's going to get better when Milton Williams comes back, and if Tonga can have some time to rest and come back, and I think we'll be okay. But yeah, that was awful, and I think we've played against better running backs and better O-lines than what the Ravens have, especially in the Buffalo Bills or say we make it to the playoffs. I mean, I don't know if the Colts are going to be there, but Jonathan Taylor in that O-line is scary. I think the Broncos O-line is scary. I think a lot of these O-lines that we're going against are a lot scarier than what we face in the Ravens. And if we're losing like that in the run game, there's something wrong. So we got to get that down. And then, Andy Borregala's freaking solid ass kicker. I'm really impressed with him. I'm actually really impressed with Tyler Loop too. I mean, those are two guys that got drafted really close together. We got obviously Andy fortunate to pick up, I think, 4 picks before, but yeah, I mean, Tyler Loop's pretty consistent. I just don't think Tyler Loop has the leg that someone like a Justin Tucker had. He definitely has the accuracy, but the leg isn't there, which you saw when he missed. I think it was a 53-yarder. And then the misfire was just a terrible punt play. That's all I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't hold you guys any longer. I'm going to try and get into our closing segment here. So just real quick before I do, just make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Scan the QR code on the top right to join our Discord. Link is also in the description below. Any support is greatly, greatly appreciated. We cannot do this without you guys, and we do it for you guys. So please, any support is great. So some nights are about points, some nights are about standings, and some nights are about truth. Last night, the Patriots went on the road into hostile territory against a team built on intimidation, and they didn't flinch. They didn't chase emotion. They didn't match chaos with chaos. They trusted structure. They trusted discipline. And when the noise faded, the answer was clear. The Ravens came expecting to break someone. Instead, they were the ones left asking questions. Once upon a midnight in Baltimore, doubt knocked at the door, and the answer came back. Firm, final, undeniable. The Ravens were never more. For Andy, Thomas, Dow, Tyler, and, of course, I'm Austin, this has been the MayeFlower Voyage presented by Patriots Clubhouse. Please, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Patriots Clubhouse Discord, and we'll see you next time. And as always,
Let's go, Pats.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.